Worried about that. Former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy joins us now. There's so many things to ask you about. Let me first ask you about this decision about immunity, but I do want to get your thoughts, as does Brett, on the debate last night.
Well, I think the Supreme Court, this is why we have three co-equal branches. I think the Chevron decision is probably one of the biggest decisions we find. We have watched the outreach and what the administration and executive branch has done into regulation, which was really the role the founders have said with Congress. And it's really shifted it back, restructured to where the founders believed America should be. I think that's going to be a defining decision long term, and I really celebrate that decision.
What about the debate last night? What was your takeaway? What did you think? What do you think it means? Do you think Joe Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee?
The first thing I would say is, I told you so. I remember when I talked to the Wall Street Journal and the Democrats and Morning Joe all attacked me, saying I was lying for what I actually saw when I would go privately in to see the president, that he could only talk from the cards. The times that he took me on a wild tour down to the swimming pool while Jill was trying to stop it. I've seen this president time and again, a different Joe Biden every time I went in to discuss matters with him. So I think the American public have saw that. If the Democrats truly believe democracy is on the ballot, they cannot remove Joe Biden from the ballot. You cannot go put somebody else in where the American people have had no time or a decision-making process where they selected that individual. This decision should have been made a long time ago, back before Labor Day, but it will really come down to the Biden family. Why did they put him through this? They had made the decision, and if democracy is on the ballot, they have to keep Joe Biden on the ballot because the people selected him.
When you watched him last night, did you think that he seemed worse than the last time you saw him?
Look, there's times I've seen him where he's been better or not. I've seen him in a worse situation where I walked out of the White House literally depressed as an American. And I've shared that with people, and it concerns me that the staff would yell at me as well. You couldn't negotiate with this president. And what's really concerning to me is, as I travel the world and talk to a lot of world leaders still, they have seen this same Joe Biden, and they have privately spoken to me concerned about it just a year ago, and other times period, a couple months ago. And that makes America weaker. This is the commander-in-chief. This is the individual that has to represent this country. This is the leader of the free world. At no time would you allow that individual to be there, let no one run again.
When you were negotiating with him, however, you did get asked about this, and you said you worked with him behind the scenes and he was competent. I mean, you said some things along the way, and then you said earlier, before the debate, you shouldn't lower expectations for Biden. But you do believe that this is really where it is, the declining of President Biden's mental competency.
Let's put this in perspective. I don't like to lower expectations because they want to say if he just walked on stage, which he had a hard time doing. This man took 1 week out of office while he was the leader of the free world, with Ukraine at war, with the axis of evil going on, with inflation flaring. He took 1 week off to sit at Camp David and only prepare to try to memorize answers. And that's the position you got. What I'd really like you to do is go back 4 years and show Joe Biden answering a question in that debate to this debate, and you'll see how quick that decline is. That's when I talked to you about every time I'd go meet with President Biden, I got a different Joe Biden. And I would use a negotiation skill when he would only use the cards, and I would disrupt the meeting once he got into the cards, because then he could no longer continue forward, as you watched last night. And I did all my negotiations with his staff. I'd have to come in and he'd have to bless something, but it was always with the cards. And I used a structure. When I'm sitting negotiating with somebody, I'm not going to go out and give him the secrets of what I'm talking to him about, but disrupting on the cards, he could not carry on the conversation longer. Those people in the room saw it, they knew it, and that's why, from the standpoint of why did they ever make that decision a year ago to put him in this place?
All right. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, thank you so much. We've had a rip-roaring show.